Why did Jane Greer, Dick Powell's leading lady in the super western Station West, give up her hobby of collecting Indian arrowheads? How did 71-year-old Indian actor Chief Many Treaty steal a big scene from the stars in the movie Black Bart? What popular leading lady in many western pictures will be starred in her next one by Republic Studios? For the answers to these questions and a lot of real good American folk music, listen to Red Harper's Hollywood Roundup.
Well, a Hollywood howdy to your neighbors from your old corral pal, Red Harper, bringing you the latest news about your favorite cowboy movie stars, what's going on in the country and folk music field, and most important, a famous Western star in person as my special guest. So pull up an easy chair and relax, because pretty soon you're going to be meeting an old pal of yours, Tim Holt. Yes, sir, I was pouring the spurs to my horse, old grease paint, and galloping down Gower Gulch about 90 per, when I spied pretty little RKO actress Jane Greer sitting there on a log looking so sad, I decided to stop and ask her what was the matter. Well, sir, she told me she was sad because she had to give up her hobby of collecting Indian arrowheads. She said she didn't mind it so much when Dick Powell saved her from getting bit by a rattlesnake when she was searching the rocks for some arrowheads there when they were making their big outdoor drama Station West. But when someone finally told her what the writing said on the fishbone arrowheads she collected in South America when she was there on her honeymoon, well, she gave up. It said, danger, do not handle, arrows poison. Well, you know, I'm mighty glad to hear that the movie moguls are watching long, lean, and handsome cowboy Harry Carey Jr., and I'm a-giving big odds that the talented son of the late Harry Sr. will keep the name bright on the movie screen. And it looks like all the hard work that pretty Adrian Booth has been doing in all those westerns at Republic is at last going to pay off. She was so good in the William Elliott star of The Gallant Legion that she will have top billing in her next one at the studio. Congratulations, Adrian. You know, I was just thinking, what better place could you have the world premiere of the Rod Cameron starring picture Panhandle than Amarillo, Texas? Not only will the members of the cast, including Rod, Kathy Downs, and Ann Gwynn, make the trek to this gala affair, but also the Texas boys who produced it, Blake Edwards and John C. Champion. You know, I think it's kind of interesting, too, that Edwards plays the villain in the picture. Boy, I wish I could make that. I'd have my cousin Fred come over from Malchus and we'd... why do I always have to work?
Red Harper presents his special feature, The History Behind the Song.
Now, there's no mistaking that song Herman the Hermit and the boys are playing. It's My Adobe Hacienda. And perhaps you folks think this song was an overnight sensation. But it took composer Lee Penny 7 long years to make it a hit song. You see, back in November of 1940, Lee was working at a radio station there on WLS in Chicago with Louise Massey, when she came in one day raving to him about her new ranch out there in Socacho, New Mexico, called El Rancho del Padre. Her vivid description of the rambling adobe ranch house sort of fired Lee's imagination, and he went home that night and wrote My Adobe Hacienda, which he presented to Louise the very next day. Of course, Louise fell in love with the song and started singing it constantly on the NBC show Plantation Party. And Lee sold the song to one of America's biggest publishers of Western and folk music, Peer International. But nothing happened. Then Lee got the great Western swing band leader Bob Wills to do the number in a Warner Brothers picture he was making about that time, and a little later got Bob Asher and Bonnie Blue Eyes to feature the tune in a Columbia picture they were making. Well, this kind of started all the West Coast great Western and hillbilly bands to plan it. You know, people like Spade Cooley, Texas Jim Lewis, T. Texas Tyler, Ted Daffin, and others. So Lee went to Peer International, asked them to start, pushing the song, you know, and still nothing happened. Well, about 6 years later, a songwriter named Pearl Wallace started a new recording company, Rhapsody Records, primarily to record her own compositions. And at a session with an unknown group called the Esquire Trio, they needed one more tune to complete the date, and Miss Waller remembered a song she'd heard at a Spade Cooley dance with a lyric line she liked, Cactus, Lovelier Than Orchids, and had the boys do the tune, My Adobe Hacienda. Well, none of the other songs made an impression even, but the Adobe Hacienda side became an immediate hit in all the jukeboxes. So Lee Penny again went to Peer and asked them to please plug the song. Nothing happened. In the meantime, the Esquire Trio became so popular, all the popular bands in the country wanted to play the tune. Lawrence Welk wanted to wax it for Decca, but couldn't even find a copy of the music. So Russ Morgan and Kenny Baker did it for New York for the Decca label. And about this same time, an unknown band leader named Jack McLean had a record session with an unknown disc firm, Coast Records. And they, too, needed a tune to fill out a session. So their boss, Jimmy Kennedy, owner of the Hacienda nightclub there in San Diego, said, well, why don't you boys do your theme song, Adobe Hacienda? Well, they did. And this made Jack McLean a big-time band leader and put Coast Records in the record business, but good. And it also made a big-time songwriter of Lee Penny. Still, for some reason, publisher Peer would not plug the song. Finally, Jimmy Kennedy went to Pier and said if they didn't make the tune their number one plug song, Jack McLean would never record another Pier tune. Well, of course they did, and in so doing, made it the biggest hit song of 1947. Composer Lee Penny doesn't have to take chances now, though, because he has his own publishing firm. And out in San Fernando Valley, his own Adobe Hacienda. Well, the Chief Many Treaties, that is, a veteran Indian actor, has a non-speaking role in the Technicolor picture Black Bart. Now, the script doesn't even allow him to register an offhand UGG on the soundtrack. Well, you know, he's described as an impassive Modoc Indian. The Chief is supposed to participate in, but steadfastly refrain from reacting to the wild adventures that befall his fellow players, Yvonne DiCarlo, Dan Duryea, Jeffrey Lynn, and Percy Kilbride. However, the crafty old Chief, you see, he's 71, managed to have his say in the film without disturbing the microphone. Acknowledged Hollywood's top authority on the Indian Sign Language, well, the old Chief there, he just sneaked in one comment by this method. When director George Sherman reviewed the rushes there one day showing the sequence in which Duryea, as the gentleman bandit, makes verbal passes at Miss DiCarlo, who plays the beautiful Lola Montez, the Chief slyly held up the second and third fingers, slightly bent, of his right hand. When questioned, the Chief translated the gesture. It meant wolf.
Red Harper's Hollywood Roundup presents an extra special feature. From RKO Radio Studios, America's popular cowboy star in person, Tim Holt.
Howdy, everybody. Hi there, boy.
How are you, Tim? You know, I'm sure glad you dropped in, Tim, because ever since I heard about that $1,000 saddle you're going to give the 1948 champion bronc rider, I've wanted to tell the folks about it. And now you can give it to them firsthand.
Well, Red, that's a story that's pretty close to my heart, and I'd love to tell it. You see, some time ago, I got the idea that if more of our young people, boys and girls alike, became interested in horseback riding and riding contests like, well, you know, like rodeos, we'd have a lot less juvenile delinquency.
Well, I'll go for that idea 100%.
I really believe, Red, that if all those kids who drive hot rods and hopped-up cars and motorcycles would ever learn how to ride and get good enough to go into different competitions, or they'd just throw rocks at those motors.
Gosh, yes. There's nothing more thrilling than breezing along with a good horse on you.
Sure. And if we could only get more schools and colleges to sponsor horsemanship and rodeos, you know, like the University of Arizona has done, that's how much healthier our youth of tomorrow would be.
Yeah, that's right. But pretty hard to get kids in the cities interested in horses, though.
I figure that's because there's too many pool halls and places like that around.
Yeah.
If people would put in indoor riding academies in their place and make them just as easy to get to, I kind of think the kids would go for it, don't you?
Oh, darn. I never thought of an idea like that before.
Now, very few people have, and that's why I'm starting a campaign to get some of them rolling. Even the middle-sized Midwestern towns need to get more interested in horses. That's one of the reasons I became a partner of the original Lamar Jennings stock contractors in Norman, Oklahoma. We're going to put on and furnish stock for rodeos all over the country.
And all the riders in all these shows can compete for that saddle of yours?
That's right, Red. It's going to be given to the 1948 World Champion Saddle Bronc Rider. It's chosen under the RCA Point Award system and will be presented at the February Fort Worth Pap Stock Show.
Well, that saddle Ed Bowman made for you sure is a beauty, but I don't know enough about him, really, to describe him right. Would you mind describing it for the folks?
Well, it's got enough silver on it, so you could call it silver-mounted, but it's still a practical working saddle. It's got a Calabasas roping tree, square-skirted, and it's a three-quarter double rig. It has 16-inch tapaderas on it.
Boy, that's a prize worth working for, all right. And I know it will spur those riders to get in there and pick at the rodeos to garner those points.
Yes, and I'm hoping it'll inspire a lot of youngsters all over America, too. They really take their saddle busting, calf roping, and different horse competition acts like that seriously. It's a wonderful sport, and, you know, if you learn how to do it right, it's not dangerous.
Is that right? Gee, I thought a lot of guys were hurt at rodeos every year.
Not so many as you might think. Why, football alone, among a lot of other sports, cripples 10 times as many every year.
No, you don't. Say, you going to compete in the rodeos?
No, I'm just going to take my two horses, Lightning and Sheik.
Say, I know Lightning is the Palomino you use in your pictures, but who is Sheik?
Well, Sheik's kind of extra special. You see, there's only two of them in America. He comes from the Emperor's stable in Austria. He's a solid white Lipizzan stallion. Albert Ostermeyer, the man who trained the horse and who incidentally trained me, brought him over here for the MGM picture several years ago, Florian.
Oh, yeah.
Sheik is Florian himself.
Boy, he's some horse. Well, Tim, you know, I sure do admire you for trying to get more boys and girls interested in horses and rodeos.
Well, it looks like it's going to be a lot of hard work, but I'm certain it's going to pay off sooner or later.
Well, so am I. Before you go, Tim, we have kind of a little surprise here for you. You're talking about world champ bronc riders and stuff. Well, we got the world champion five-train banjo picker here with us today, and he's going to do a number especially for you. Meet Herman the Hermit.
I'm mighty glad to know you, Herman.
Well, glad to meet you, Tim. Say, any special number you'd like to hear?
No, just any polka or schottische will suit me fine.
All right, here's an old-time schottische that my pappy wrote about 50 years ago back in West Virginia.
That's right, smart banjo picking, Herman. Thanks.
That's all right, but I sure would like to have one of those pictures like you just read a while ago, Tim.
Well, that can be arranged very easy.
You know, I think our listeners would like a picture like that, too. How about it, Tim?
Well, sure, Red. Any of you folks listening in, if you'd like an autographed picture, just send a letter or postcard to me. Tim Holt, care Red Harper's Hollywood Roundup, Armed Forces Radio, Los Angeles, USA, and I'll send one right on out to you.
Well, thanks a lot, Tim. And thanks for dropping in.
It was a pleasure, Red. Goodbye, everybody. So long, boys.
Well, I gotta mosey on now, neighbors, but try and be in when we ride your way again real soon, will you? Until then, this is Red Harper reminding you that these long skirts the gals are wearing are just like Prohibition. The joints are still there. They're just harder to find. Ride easy, partners. Don't pull leather.
This is the United States Armed Forces Radio Service, the voice of information and education.